How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video. Now in today's video, I'm going to be trying to teach you guys how to drift in Assetto Corsa. Now the key word for this video is beginner tips, okay? I'm not promising anything. I am simply giving you tips that had helped me get through my journey and get to where I am right now. I am by no means a professional at drifting. I can just get the car sideways and keep it sideways. And I made a video before how to drift with a steering wheel in Car X. And a lot of people had questions like, how do you drift in Assetto Corsa if you can drift in Car X? Like, is this the right game for me if I want to take drifting seriously? And answer is Car X is arcadey, Assetto is more realistic. Anyways, I'm rambling on. I just want to get straight into the video. I had already recorded this video once and started watching it back, and I think we're like 3 minutes in and I hadn't even got to the point. So jumping straight in, there is 3 big things that we're going to go over, okay? We're going to go over steering, all right? I want to get you guys comfortable with steering and get you guys comfortable with the wheel. And then I want to go over transitions as well, from corner to corner. I want to get you guys comfortable with that as well. And then a huge thing that I don't think people talk about enough is throttle control. A lot of the time, I think content creators are focusing on the steering, not as much throttle control. That's just from the videos I've seen, and I haven't watched a lot, so please don't hate on me if that's not the case. And if this video isn't super helpful, as always, I'm going to watch a very detailed video and just find the best one that I think would help you guys and put it down in the link in the description below. Just because I do not want to mislead you guys at all with this video. All I want to do is just purely help you guys, and I hope I can do that. Keep in mind, I am really bad at explaining things, so just bear with me. And hopefully by the end of this, you will be able to hit the track a little bit more confidently. So first off, to get mods, and this is actually the stock track, but to get mods and maps, you do need to download Content Manager. So if you do not have that, go ahead and save this video, search up how to get Content Manager in Assetto Corsa, get your mods sorted, and then jump back in, get a pack, look up packs that are really good for starters, get your car, come back to this video, and we'll get into it. Okay, and for those that already have all of that and are ready to go, let's get into steering. A big thing with steering is a lot of the time people will come into a corner and just hold their wheel straight because, well, it's not their fault. They don't know what to do. They're new to the game, and that's, you know, instinct, I guess. And I am not going to be able to emphasize this enough, guys. The biggest thing is let the wheel glide. Let the wheel glide through your hands, okay? That is the huge thing. When your vehicle is sideways, and your vehicle does this in real life as well, this is just what vehicles do. When your vehicle is sideways, it is going to try to find the straight point, okay? Your wheels are just going to try to find the straight point, right? So if you are trying to hold it back, like if I'm manually trying to find the straight point, I'm going to be too slow. I'm going to be far too slow to find that straight point. So with that being said, when those rear tires get loose, I want you guys to practice letting the wheel slide, okay? So tires are loose, let the wheel slide. And look at this, the car's pretty much drifting itself just from the wheel sliding. I wish it was that easy. I wish that you guys could just go on the track, but that's not the case. So I want you guys to get comfortable with the wheel sliding. But the next step is, once when you find that you're comfortable with letting that wheel slide when it needs to, I want you guys to start catching the wheel when you feel it's in the proper position. Because if I let the wheel slide too much, you know, it's gonna fly back, it's gonna fling back. So when that wheel slides and finds that perfect position, you're gonna need to grab it and catch it. So slide, good position, and I grabbed it, and then I caught it because it was in the perfect position. So wheel slides, I'm gonna catch it right here because it's a good position. And then from there on, I'm telling you guys, please just practice that. Just practice. It's gonna seem really hard at first. It's gonna be very frustrating. I know, I've been through it. But you'll over practice, over just putting hours into the game, you're gonna notice, wow, this is getting a lot easier. And with that, you will be able to make those slight adjustments, okay? That's really what it is. Once when you get that car sideways and you're really comfortable, it's just about minor adjustments. Like, do you see how I'm not even really moving the wheel that much? I'm using my fingers right now. Just those slight adjustments, well, mid-drift. It's like, that's pretty much the wheel aspect to it for beginners. That's the wheel aspect to it for beginners. And as you guys go on and as you guys get better, you'll find that there are more input and there are more things to the wheel that you will be doing. But just to get around a couple of corners and just get started, that is the basis to getting your car sideways and drifting. And I will touch on the wheel a little bit more, but I do want to get into throttle control. I know I said we'd go over transitions as well, but I do want to talk about throttle control because you'll find that you're having a really hard time learning that wheel section without throttle control. Because if I go into this corner and I'm just full throttle, you know, it's not going to give me a consistent, it's really not going to give me a consistent amount of angle, and it's going to either straighten me out or spin me out. So that is where throttle control comes into play. When you're in a corner, I would like you guys to try to feather the throttle in a low gear so you can have high RPM, so you guys can have control of that car. Once when you guys start feathering the throttle in corners a little more, you'll find, okay, this is nice, you know, I have a little bit more control of the car. As soon as you get comfortable, don't keep feathering the throttle, because that's not the best thing to do. But the only reason I'm getting you guys to do that is so you can get an idea of when you add throttle and when you let go of throttle, what the car does. And sure enough, if you keep practicing that, you'll see, okay, I need more throttle, less throttle, I need more throttle, less throttle, and it will just help significantly. If you guys can do all that and put it together, you already have a really good base there, and you will be able to get around the track pretty good. Clutch is also pretty important. I'd say clutch is very important just for clutch kicking. So clutch kicking, for those that don't know, is when you are in a low RPM and pedal to the metal, the car is not coming out, so you put the clutch in, slam the throttle, drop the clutch, and it gets the rear tires loose. Now that can be used in many cases, whether you're coming into a corner really slow and you just need that back end out really quick, or if you are in a drift and you find, oh my goodness, I'm losing angle, clutch kick, and you get way more angle and you get higher RPMs. I feel like you guys can just focus on that a little later on the line. It's not too important at the start. And braking, obviously braking is really good when you're flying into a corner fairly fast. You're just drifting, oh, brake, you know, I'm flying into that a little fast. Just like you would normally brake in a car, you know, you just gotta, it's honestly, you guys will seriously just feel it out. This doesn't sound helpful at all, and I apologize for that, but you're like, over time, you're just gonna find things that help you the best, and you're gonna find out how to do it, because over the amount of times that you'll be spinning out, you'll be like, okay, I spun out, what did I do wrong there? And then you're gonna try again, and you're just gonna find better ways that will help you personally. But obviously, yes, so feather the throttle, get comfortable with the steering wheel and braking. Eventually down the line, you guys will learn a little bit of left foot braking, which is good for slow. See, like slow around corners there. That's what it's really good for. Left foot braking is really, really important for tandems as well. But back to steering. So I wanted to cover throttle control as well, so you guys could have an aspect of that and get the bases down. But for steering, I want to touch on a little bit more because I didn't cover it fully. But the big difference between Car X and Assetto Corsa is you do have to be a little bit more aggressive with the steering. So we talked about letting the wheel slide and then giving those little adjustments. But when transitioning, you still let the wheel slide in most cases. There are going to be some cases where you do have to throw the wheel just like that. You are gonna have to throw the wheel because it's not, if you do let it slide during a transition, sometimes it's just not fast enough. So sometimes you do have to get a little aggressive and throw the wheel so it can get there in the proper time. And sometimes you're gonna have a lot bigger adjustments, just like that one. See, I was losing a lot of angle, and so you just, and then I had too much angle there, and you see how I had to throw. Now I'm adjusting far forward, far back, and now far forward again. And you just see how, like, when you make those big adjustments, you're gonna have to make another adjustment quite, like, relatively soon after you make that adjustment. I know I said adjustment like over 100 times there, but that is a big thing. When you're drifting, adjustment, you're just gonna have to get comfortable with it, and you'll find you're having a much easier time. But like I said, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to let the wheel slide. Even though I have caught it, there are instances that I'm going to need to let it slide to find that center point. I can't cover it enough. It's just time, guys. Really, it's just a huge portion of this is just time. As long as you put hours into the game, if you guys have spare time throughout your day, it is a very, very fun. Drifting is so much fun, and you guys will, I think you guys will enjoy it a bunch, especially when you start getting the grasp of it. It's just, it's about commitment, really. And I really hope you guys do not drop this. I hope you guys don't get discouraged and drop it, because it's super fun, guys. It's just, if you stick to it, you'll find you're connecting corners, you're doing stuff a lot easier than you were before, and you're just gonna have a good time. And especially, it's super fun when you get your friends over and they're like, oh, you got a wheel, and you're like, yeah, I can do a little bit of stuff. Boom, second, you know, clutch kick. Oh yeah, I can slightly drift a little bit, and they're like, oh my god, that's really cool. And then I just want to really quickly go over transitions. We did touch on it just a tiny bit, but I want to go over it a little bit, and then that should be it for the video. I just want to go over transitions and then send you guys to the track and start learning. So a big thing with transitions is you're going to come into the corner, and hopefully you guys are comfortable with corners right now. And so big thing with transitions is you want to let the wheel slide. There's that slide again with the transitions. So when you're doing these transitions, kind of let the wheel slide a little bit, but then it comes back to the throwing aspect. Now that is why I want to mention throwing the wheel. Assetto Corsa, you do have to be a little more aggressive. With Car X, it's really just about letting the wheel slide, especially through transitions. But with Car X, you can get away with letting it slide during transitions at some points when it's a nice kind of slow one, you know. But I feel like oftentimes, especially with tight transitions, you're gonna have to have more control over the wheel and throw it more. Do you see how I threw it towards the other way? And I'm controlling the wheel at this point, throwing it. Just because when you're transitioning, your car is flowing a lot more with the rear end, and you have to get that steering where it needs fast. Okay, you have to get it to where it needs to be fast, or else let's take a look at what will happen. Now we're transitioning, and if I don't get it there fast enough, we're gonna spin out. And then you guys are gonna go through that a lot. It's just gonna happen. There's nothing you can really do about it unless you're a natural born drifter. But all I can say is when you are doing these transitions, try not to have very much throttle, maybe even put the clutch in, because when you put that clutch in, it is going to kill a lot of the power, so it doesn't have enough power to throw you out and spin you out. But like I said, just watch the wheel, watch what I do in this transition here. It's a big portion of control when you are doing transitions. Mid-corner, like I said, nice and simple, just those minor adjustments. But yes, transitions are a little bit more tough. It's just a thing over time. And just to end it off, 2 little tips here is I would love for you guys to practice donuts. Donuts are so important. Donuts are going to teach you those little adjustments. I want you guys to try to follow your tire marks the first time you went around, and try to keep your rear tires in those tire marks with those slight adjustments with the wheels. And now this one is for transitions. This one should help you a significant amount with transition. Now what we're going to be doing here is figure eights. Figure eights will help you enormously with transitions, because while you're doing a figure eight, and you do have to swap to the other direction, and just get comfortable with donuts. Once when you get really comfortable with donuts and doing corners, try doing a couple figure eights. And boom, there we go. Those are the beginner tips that have helped me. We have the fuel logo. I only put 20 liters in this car. I said I have to get this video done before we run out of gas. But there we go. Those are my beginner tips for you, and I really hope you guys did take something away from this video. Oftentimes I feel like I'm just rambling on, and sometimes it doesn't make sense, but I really hope there was some tips in there that will help you along your drifting journey. So the video is done now. You do not have to stay. I do want to grab a couple comments from the previous video and just go over those in the actual video, just in case any of you guys run into these problems. I do want to find the frequently ran into problems and then go over them. So the video is over now. You guys are more than welcome to leave. You guys can hit the track and see if any of these tips helped. Feel free to come back if you need to watch it over again or watch a portion of it. Go ahead. Without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm going to go over these comments now. And starting off with a positive comment here from Blade. He says, thank you so much for your video. It's so helpful for a noob like me and people who start to learn about drift. I'm very, very glad that that video could help you. A lot of people asking what car I'm using, so I'm just gonna get that out of the way. This is the Sylvia S15, the 1JZ. It is from the N Style car pack. Another person says, what are your wheel settings? My wheel settings are default. But I do suggest watch a couple videos, mess around with your settings, see what you like. This guy says, why is my wheel so clunky when I let my wheel glide through my hands? I'm assuming you have the Logitech. The Logitech in general is a very clunky wheel, but if it is more clunky than normal, maybe check if your software is up to date. Make sure your power cable is fully plugged in and it has the right amount of power going to it. And if that doesn't solve your problems, YouTube's your best friend. This guy says, this guide helped so much. I got the game yesterday and I was so bad. I kept spinning out when I drift. Now, the day later, I can do donuts successfully. I am so glad that the video was able to help you. And I hope this video maybe helps you if you ever plan on playing Assetto. So this person says, how do I make my wheel find the straight point or like glide in my hands faster, because when I let go it doesn't spin fast through my hands? Now I think we did touch on that a little bit towards the end of the video, but especially with the transitions, we did touch on that with the transitions. Transitions are a little bit more aggressive, so you do have to be faster with them, and they do involve you being a little bit more controlled with the wheel. So when you're coming into corners, we talked about how letting your wheel glide through your hands and letting it glide sometimes when you need, but catching it. With transitioning, you do want to have it a little bit more controlled, because the wheel is not going to be able to spin fast enough with transitions. So sometimes you'll find yourself needing to throw the wheel or just spin it really fast with your own hands. And I hope that helps. This person says, which map is this? So this is for a different video, but this current map that I'm on is a stock map with the Assetto Corsa. It is called Drift. This person commented, WTF. I'm not too sure. This person says, I'm so bad I can't even do donuts, and that is where I say it is just practice, practice, practice. This person says, my wheel doesn't have force feedback. Is it still worth keeping, or did I buy a trash wheel? Oftentimes wheels with no force feedback are a little bit cheaper, but hey man, if you bought the wheel, just use it, have fun with it, save up a little bit, and then upgrade when you're ready, and so on and so forth. I hope we answered a couple questions. A lot of them were just super positive. I think there was only 2 in there that really needed my assistance, but a lot of the time they're just asking about wheel settings, which map, which car. So if there is anything that I didn't really cover in this video that you do need help with, feel free to comment down below, and I will try to my best ability to help you answer that. And if I do not answer in the comments, which I do, I try my best to answer all comments, but if I don't end up answering, I do have a Discord where you can direct contact me or just type in general, and I should definitely answer there. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching and all the support. And without further ado, I will see you guys in the next one.